there were some cool sequences in the fights. Um, could have been worse, obviously, but like going back to what Sterling said, I think just Tom Hardy's having the grand old time drinking whiskey and writing some stuff, some ideas coming out of his brain, like
Yeah, I imagined him being like you said in
talking to
his
himself.
little diary at night. Yeah, being and then like Carnage will like punch him and he'll like hit a wall and then like he'll like flip over this way and then maybe like the other guy comes in and like dumps fire. Yeah, that'd be cool. And then like kind of like a kid playing with action figures. With your best friends Trey Sterling and Matt, the film Schmucks. Before we get to the Venom, Son of Vintage, Welcome to Carnage, the Venom movie, before we watch, before we get to that, I want to talk about theater etiquette. You guys know that I like going to the theater. I love it, but a theater experience is only as good as the people in the theater, my friends. I've complained before. There's some other movie I watched in the past where someone was being kind of annoying. This blows it out of the water. This isn't some girl eating cannolis out of her bag. All right, this is this one pissed me off so much. So they came in late. We have our spot. We started picking next to the aisle because I always have to pee during the movie, although I didn't pee during this one. And so we have our seat. There's 2 seats next to us. We each have our little recliners. A father and son. By the way, there's a lot of little kids in this movie. And I don't mean like 10-year-olds. I
Yep.
mean like 4 and 5-year-olds. Like a lot of them. So anyway,
Yep.
they sit down. This father and son come and sit down in the chairs next to us. They're a little bit late. Whatever. Who cares? So we start watching the movie. Off the bat, the kid is talking in the same voice I'm talking to you right now, right? And it's a kid, right? The dad will reply to him and make little comments to him, but let's say, look, I will let it slide if you need to whisper a little something like, "Hey, I think I saw Thanos' purple nuts in that last shot," or whatever. But you whisper, you know what I mean? He was going like, "Oh yeah, did you see that? Venom got him. Venom's there." Like in a room voice like level. And it's next to me, and I'm a little irritated, but whatever. It's quiet for a good hour, a good half hour of the movie. There's a couple of times here and there where he'll talk to the son and make little comments, and it's kind of loud. So the son's next to me, and the dad's next to him, just so you know. At a point in the movie, all of a sudden, right near a quiet moment, there was a noise. It sounded like this. Like I can't even do it
What?
loud enough. It was like I can't do it. A really loud inhalation noise, right? Like like
Okay.
that, okay? And we're looking around, and I look over at Christy, and she's looking around like it's next to me, right? And I'm like, and finally, it's dark, but finally I kind of I'm like, what is that? And I look over, the dad fell asleep and was snoring loudly.
What?
And I looked over, and there were some people next to him, and you could tell like almost everyone in the theater was irritated. At one point, someone in front, down below, like got up and looked around. So I was grabbing the popcorn. I was grabbing the popcorn because I was going to start throwing popcorn at the guy. But here's the problem: his little kid is next to me, and then he's next to it. So like otherwise, I would have like poked him or something. You know what I mean? I would have done something. But I'm afraid to do something, and I almost wanted to tell the kid, "Hey, wake your deadbeat dad up, all right? We got a movie to watch here." And it was, I'm not kidding, my blood was going to a boil because it was loud. And when the action scenes would come up, you couldn't hear it, but then it would go quiet and you would just hear it. It was the only thing you could hear. It was so loud. And finally I was so glad the kid saw that his dad fell asleep or noticed it. I don't know how he didn't notice before, to be honest. And he at one point he started kind of hitting his dad on the arms and pushed him in the face. And the dad woke up, and everyone in the in my fantasy, everyone in the theater started cheering. But you could visibly see that people were like, "Thank God," because I was pissed. And then and every time the dad almost fell asleep again after that, the kid would start punching him in the arm and waking him up. But here's the thing. So I've never seen someone snore in a movie that loud. It was crazy.
Real quick, keep that thought. The guy in front, I'm curious. He didn't go into detail, but the guy in front, Was it like this? He's like, he didn't say anything. He didn't say
Well,
a
it wasn't.
thing.
It was like he was like a teenager. It was probably like a 15-year-old. Usually, teenagers are annoying people in movie theaters. This kid
Yeah.
was like, "I'm trying to watch Venom and Carnage here, you son of a bitch," because he stood up and he was like, "What the fuck is that?" Because Christy even said, we talked about it after the movie. Because Christy said it didn't sound necessarily like snoring. It was really loud, but it almost sounded like someone taking a loud vape hit or something. Like it was real.
Yeah.
She was
Oh,
like,
wow.
I thought someone was vaping or something. I didn't know what the fuck that
Oh.
was. So I think
Huh.
it was unclear. And then when the kid looked up, I don't think he understood what was happening because it was confusing. Oh my god, it was horrible. It pissed me off so much. And here's what I'm gonna go on a big Adam Carolla style love line rant here, okay? But this is the problem with the cycle of life. I told Christy after, I'm like, that guy, that son of a bitch right there is the problem with all the world's problems. Because his son is talking at a loud volume during the movie, and here's what a good parent does. They go, hey, there's other people, hey, keep it down, keep it quiet, there's other people watching the movie, you gotta be respectful to other people. Instead, you could see right where he got it from. The dad's talking loud to him, falls asleep during the movie, he's eating popcorn with his mouth open real loud. I mean, I was real pissed about it at the end, because I'm like, how many other kids does this guy have who are all talking loud in theaters? When people go, and it's like, I feel like we need to start a new Film Schmucks initiative. I want everyone to go out. I want everyone to start this on the streets. We need to make it we need to make the theater like a religious place again. We need to make it a holy place. We need to make it respected. Because I'm getting so tired of I've went to the theaters probably 5 times in the last 6 months, something like that, 4 or 5 times. And 3 out of the 5 times, there's people talking loud. There's some issue. And I think we need to start our own theater. And if you talk, here's what I think: 3 strikes you're out system. If you start talking during a movie or something, and there should be little lights. This is what I think on your seat, and everyone in the theater can open up the app. And if someone's being loud, they can check mark that seat. And if the person gets enough checks, then they get 1 strike. And if you get 3 strikes, you can't go to the theaters anymore. And I'm totally I'm gonna go full authoritarian on this. I'm gonna kick people out of the theaters. Woo!
It sounds like Wichita is a crap place to go to the movies. Holy crap!
I guess so.
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed
we had that
with kids movies, if it's an adult, like an R-rated movie, especially depending on the type of movie, but if it's a movie that parents bring kids to, superhero movie, King Kong, all of that, I notice there's way more issues.
I had a question. How big was the theater? Was it kind of medium size, small size, or kind of large?
It was a smaller size theater.
Okay.
It had
You could hear it a lot
recliners,
better.
AMC. It was recliners. Yeah, it was way more noticeable. If it wasn't like there wasn't a balcony. It wasn't a huge one. If there was, it'd probably be less noticeable. Either way, I'm sitting next to the guy. That's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I've never had a really good experience. It's rare in Wichita. All those times I went before, people always are loud there. People are playing their Nintendo, DSs. Hey, who's Johnny 737? You were there. You guys were there for that one, I think.
Yeah,
You remember that?
I do. I feel that sounds familiar. Do you remember what was it? One of the Marvel movies or something?
It was a big event. Yeah.
Do you remember Trey, when we saw King Kong vs. Godzilla and the
meth head.
The meth head came and he didn't know how to find his seat and he just threw his arms up and sat down next to a 6-year-old. Oh my god.
I think you guys should move to LA because we don't have any of those problems here.
Yeah,
in the
because you
theater.
No, you do. You do. You just
nuts.
you're lucky.
We do have theaters open. I just saw the movie.
Oh yeah.
You're just lucky.
Okay, maybe I'm the dumb one on that one, but I'll move to Colorado. Apparently, there's less problems up there. It's the mountain air. It's keeping it fresh. People are saying. Okay. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. Another little rant. Everybody, welcome to the Film Schmucks. We haven't introduced ourselves in a while, so I'm Matt. We got Sterling over here, and we got Trey down at the bottom. This month, it's on Film Schmucks. It's all new movies, baby. Today starts it off.
Yes.
Today starts it off, baby. We saw Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and you got one of you.
I'll
you
start
guys,
it off.
Start it off.
Let me start it off.
I literally have no idea how you guys feel about it. I don't even know how I feel.
Well, here we go. I go to my theater in the Denver Mile High City, where it's clean air, fresh living. Okay, not really clean air anymore because there's too many rats living here now. From LA specifically, Sterling.
I don't know if that's
Anyway,
like a slur or.
rats?
You mean actual
No.
rats? What are you talking about? Okay.
No, just
I don't know if you're
ants
like
walking
okay.
all over each other.
Yeah,
Too many
yeah.
people.
Cut
Too
that
many
out.
people.
Cut that out. All right.
Got it. So I go to the theater by myself because Amanda hasn't seen Venom, the first one. So yeah, whatever. So I go in, I sit down. I'm the first one there. I never get there like 10 minutes before, and I did. It felt like an eternity to get to the trailers. So there's my bad experience. But
What?
people are just talking, having a good time. Yeah. What were you gonna add, Matt?
I'm sorry, but I was gonna ask you guys this. Do you guys notice that I feel like trailers are way longer than they used to be? Not just the length of the trailer, but the amount of trailers. Our
Yeah,
showing was at
AMC.
3:30, and the movie didn't start playing till 4. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
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 The AMC has the longest trailers. They have like 4 or 5 or 6. So
I
Yep.
love
I don't mind.
I like trailers, but when you have to watch a bunch of ads beforehand, and then you got to watch trailers, it's a little much. Especially when I've seen the fucking Jackass Forever trailer 8 times now.
I know.
And it got delayed. The reason why is because it delayed. So you're gonna see plenty more of those trailers. So I'm in my theater, good seat, pretty good seat. So I'm just sitting there watching it, and I thought the first 2 minutes was completely a waste of time. I don't give a hoot about the crab lady from Pirates of the Caribbean. All right, I'm just gonna be quite honest. All right. And the CGI voice add on to the guy that doesn't even look like Woody Harrelson was pathetic. So let me just say that too.
Oh,
So
preach,
not a good
brother.
start to this
Preach,
movie.
brother.
Yeah, not a good start to this movie. But overall, I mean, I enjoyed the movie. There's a lot of stuff in this thing we'll unpack, but that's just God, what a horrible beginning. What is Gollum doing, man? God, Andy Serkis, son of a bitch. Sterling, go, man. It's your
Sterling, you
get
want
in
to
the
go?
seat.
I think we
Yeah,
both were wondering who's gonna drop the hammer first.
He's like the dad in the theater. He's snoring over here.
Well, no, it's kind of hard to sleep in a 90-minute movie, but congrats to that guy for doing it. But anyway,
Yeah.
here's the thing. The first Venom movie, it was kind of jarring because I expected something a little bit more gritty, something more kind of dark with Venom. And that's not really what I got. It became more of a comedy. And, it wasn't my preference. I'll just say that. So the first movie was kind of so-so because I wanted something different. I didn't get it, but there were some things I did like about it. Second movie, I think is a little bit better than the first one. I think it is overall better, but there's definitely there's some issues with it for sure that I saw. But overall, I do like Tom Hardy. He's a great actor, and he looks like he's having the time of his life doing this movie. Like he looks like he's having so much fun doing it. And I like the dynamic between him and Venom. There's kind of a very weird love story with it, but a lot of times it works, strangely enough. And I think I think Woody Harrelson makes for a better villain in this one compared to the first villain in the first movie. So overall, it was enjoyable, but it's just not my cup of tea, I would say, for a comic movie. So yeah.
I can't wait for Matt right now because
You guys remember?
Oh yeah,
You guys
I can't wait.
recall the bonus clip posted on Film Schmucks where I offhanded mentioned that I hated the first Venom movie, and I went on a rant about it. And I hope not to disappoint, but I'll say this: I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't outraged. I didn't hate it. I was confused. Similar to the first movie, I am, and I mean this sincerely, although I know it'll come off insulting to the people who made this movie. I am legitimately confused as to why this movie and the last movie do well, why people like them. I'm legitimately don't understand it. And here's what I'll say: the first Venom movie, I couldn't. I watched it in theaters and then I haven't seen it since. Right? We saw this movie. I was trying to remember. I was like, was I a little too hard on the first Venom movie? I'm like, I couldn't really remember what I disliked about it. Let me tell you, it all came back, baby, within the first 10 minutes of this movie. And we'll get into it in a minute. But the problem is, I don't think this movie was necessarily better or worse. I think there are a couple things that were better. I don't think it was I would say that it's any worse than the first one. But we can get into it. I think I want to know what you guys like about certain aspects of it and what you think, because I feel like maybe I'm just in the wrong on this one. So we'll get into it.
I feel like I know the answer. I mean, it goes to your rant one and rant numero dos. You had the cannoli lady at the first Venom showing, and now you got Snorlax in the second one. You just need to find a showing.
The cannoli lady wasn't at Venom, but
I'm just saying.
No,
I think she was.
No. But here's the thing. I think that me being irritated at the guy, I think I would have been really irritated if I was watching a more serious movie. It's the type of movie where it was okay, like you could miss a couple things, you know what I mean? And I really think, yeah. Well, like, I don't know. Let's get into it real quick. Tom Hardy's performance in the first movie and the second movie, I don't understand why he sounds drunk and why his accent goes in and out constantly. I just don't understand his performance in either of these movies. It's like bizarre. And this is the thing. I love Tom Hardy. I think he's a great actor. I also love Woody Harrelson. And I think that they give them terrible dialogue in these movies, and that's probably part of it. But Tom Hardy specifically, I just don't get why he sounds like he's drunk. I don't know if he was bringing tequila on set or what. And then I don't understand why there's certain parts where he was yelling in this movie where he was just like, I'm just going to forget that I have a New York accent. I'm just going to go ahead and be British again or whatever he is. And I didn't get it. Like, am I crazy? What do you guys think of this?
No, I think I don't think it's like one of his best performances by far. I think what kind of attaches me to it in some ways, again, it's not my preference. I'd like a different version of this movie, honestly, but he's having a lot of creativity, I feel like, maybe to a fault, but I feel like he's just enjoying himself. And I like seeing him enjoying himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, there's something about it that's like, good for you. Like, you're having a great time. And he came up with the story, according to the credits. So,
yeah, he wrote. Yeah,
he had a game in the writing.
I agree with you. I think that's what it feels like in the movie, is that they're just having a fun time. And to me, it's sort of like the Grown-Ups 2 of. To me, it's like the Grown-Ups 2 of superhero movies. It's like, hey, I'm just going to hang out with my friends and have a fun time. The movie might be shit, but we're having fun.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it felt like.
I don't fully disagree with that, actually, now that I think about it.
Although I think
I love Grown Ups and I like Grown Ups too. You guys can go S.
I like Grown Ups. I think Grown Ups gets too much hate because the second one was way worse, and I think that the first one people
liked it. And, I'm glad you didn't like it.
Well, I know what I'm picking for my next pick. Grown Ups 2.
Grown Ups 2.
I will pick it just because I want to hear. I want to hear Sterling turn heel. Because let's be honest,
that's
Trey,
a good idea.
Let's be honest. I turn heel and I go on these rants, and everyone in the comments is like, "Fuck you! I hope Venom bites your fucking head off, you piece of shit." And then Trey will be like, "There will be blood," more like there will be shit, dog shit. You know,
I can't wait to hear.
So this is what I'm saying is, like, I think we go real hard, and I'm like, I want to pick a movie like maybe a Rob Schneider movie or something where Sterling can just get fucking pissed about how much he hates it.
Hey, that's what he gets. For all his picks, he deserves this one. We'll give it to him.
I feel bad for Hagen, so we can get into more of the movie. I'm gonna quit.
Well, I'll say this too. So I walked, because Amanda didn't go, and I walked, and going back to what you were just talking about, how we want Sterling to be heel, like a full-on heel. I walk into the door here, and I'm making most of this up because she doesn't ask me about stuff, but. Let's just imagine an alternate reality multiverse that I walk in, and Amanda's like, "Hey, how was the movie?" And I was like, "It's pretty good." And then I look at her again and say, "Doesn't mean I can't shit on it." I can't wait for tomorrow, you know. So,
Yes. Well, to
you
be
know, but anyway,
yeah. And I want to
go
say
ahead.
the general, just the general, I can shit like the acting's bad, this is bad, that's bad, and all that. At the end of the day, I think it would probably be like a fun movie. It's a movie that you put on and like that's kind of just fun. It really reminds me of earlier superhero movies from the 2000s. That's what it reminds me of. But
Well, this was your type of movie because it was an hour and 30
oh
minutes
yeah,
or less than almost an hour and a half long. This was perfect for you.
yep,
And the
Yeah.
pacing was real quick. They kind of went fast a little too much here and there. And like I said, the beginning was a waste of time because when they talked to Cletus about his past and they do little drawings, they could have just told the chick's story then. Like
yeah.
I didn't need to see her, getting dragged away like a winch.
They kind of that's a good point. I didn't think about it till that, but it did kind of seem like he's like figuring out, wait, what is it? And it's like they act like it's big revelations in the movie. Like when he finds the thing on the tree, I'm like, they already gave away all of this at the very beginning. If they would have left it out, you would have been like, what happened here? What's going on?
Yeah. They left nothing for suspense.
Yeah. There's no mystery.
But I'm
to
shocked
any of it.
Yeah. And I'm shocked that I'm the one that likes it more than any of you because, man, this was. Yeah, Sterling.
Well, I think to kind of answer a little bit of the question earlier about why people are so attached to this and why it makes so much money is because I think it embraces the goofiness so much that it allows the audience to just enjoy it, even though it's not the best. It's not the best acting overall. It's not the best story. It's not. You're not watching Infinity War. You're watching Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and you're just watching the goofy dynamic between Tom Hardy and Venom, and just people enjoy that.
First of all, I'm going to edit what you just said, and I'm going to do it right now where I go, Sterling, please for one moment try defending Grown Ups 2, because I thought it was terrible. Okay, so now that I said that, I can take that, and then I'm going to put you talking about this movie and pretend you're talking about Grown Ups 2. So anyway.
That's just weird.
Pooh Man 3. No, well, I think that's fair, and I think that the problem for me was what I was trying to figure out is, like, there's a lot of like comedy in this movie that's really cheesy, and I don't know if if it was intentional or if they really thought they were being funny. Like when he's hanging, like for example, when he's hanging on the side of the building, and I mean, this joke is about at this point maybe 100, 200 years old, where he's on the phone and he goes, she's like, "What's up?" And he's like, "I'm just hanging out." I mean, is it supposed to be like ironically funny, or is it actually supposed to be funny? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, you totally put some hyperbole on that one. I mean, that you overdid it. Like I think I didn't even think about laughing at it. I just went with it. Like you added the tone to it. He didn't have that tone.
Look, remove the tone. Like, what are you up to? I'm just hanging out. Anyway, it's still the same joke.
To me, I don't think it was a joke. I think they just put it there because he's hanging around. They're being literal.
You son of a bitch! You're the Carnage to my Venom.
Yeah.
Hey. Dude, we should go as Venom and Carnage for Halloween. That would be hilarious. You know what would be really funny if we got like one of those like contraptions that holds a baby, and I dress like Venom and I get in Sterling's back and he's Tom Hardy. Okay. I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Well,
Trey, what do you like about this?
I like most of the jokes. So I didn't recognize that as a joke, to be honest. That's why I was saying what I was saying.
They didn't
but
I'm on it.
Fair enough to you for saying what you're saying. I get it. But anyway, a lot of the jokes landed for me with the duo, Venom and Eddie. I know I laugh at this too. There's one line I'll talk about later. I won't forget it. I told you earlier. But when he's asking about food, he wants meat, brains, and Eddie's like, "Well, they got the chickens over there," and he turns him. I forgot the names, but he's like, "I can't eat." Yeah, Sonny and Cher. I laughed, and I still laugh. I thought that was funny because he had an attachment to the chickens and gave them names. Like, I thought it was funny.
I think
Yeah.
Sterling was right about and I think what you're saying is like probably the connection between Venom and Eddie. And I'm not like I haven't read like a ton of Venom comic books, but I've seen that relationship in certain comics. Like I used to read Ultimate Spider-Man a lot, and Ultimate Spider-Man had a lot of Venom stuff. And I do think that is a thing that is really interesting. And they obviously go into more of a comedy angle than maybe the comics would with it. But I do think that is pretty good there, the core of that. I think it's a lot of times that's probably where the strong suit is. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sterling, go ahead.
No, like for me, I mean, I don't know if most of the jokes landed for me overall, but I will say there were there were times where, especially when Venom was talking, I it's something about that voice in combination with the dialogue that like just I don't know, there's something hilarious about it at times. And like in more cases, the crowd that I was with, like they found it hilarious.
Yeah.
Like a
Yep,
lot of the
same
times
here.
because like
The
it's just such a
7-year-olds loved
weird,
it in my theater.
yeah. No, adults loved it too.
This son of a
The
gun.
the contrast though, that contrast of his voice and the dialogue, I think that's what does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I actually do agree that I think they got that part of it pretty good. What do you
And it's
guys
Tom Hardy's voice, right? Am I
That's what
not?
I was
Yes,
wondering. Okay, I
it
figured
is.
it probably was. So what did you
Yeah.
guys think of Woody Harrelson overall?
I, I think
Don't
he's a great actor. I think he
don't
definitely has some bad dialogue.
Yeah, he has some of the
So,
worst dialogue. And I like here's the thing, Woody Harrelson's great, Tom Hardy's great, Andy Serkis is great. So I'm not trying to shit on any of them individually. Woody Harrelson, well, can we talk about this guy? I think this is everyone agreed on this, right? In the first Venom, the end of the movie when it showed the bonus scene where he walks in and Woody Harrelson's there and he has the Annie hair. I laughed out loud because it was so bad. Like because I couldn't believe that Woody Harrelson was sitting there with a orange wig. And I will say they did make the hair better in this movie, but it's still like weird. It's like this really bad like Ronald Weasley. It looks like something you get at a costume shop. I'm like I just didn't get like I can't take it. But that's the thing. Are they just trying to be funny, or did they think that looked good?
It was better than, like you said, better than it was before. I mean,
That's
you can't you putting lipstick on a pig don't work. I mean, that much.
no, but yeah, I thought
No, you thought what?
well, I mean that's a cosmetic thing about the hair. It doesn't mean very much about the character. I think that there were some bad lines of dialogue for him more than anyone. The story
I
was
thought
cool. The,
oh, what part?
Yeah.
I just thought if I
Be
paused long
specific.
enough, you guys would move on. No,
Yeah,
I just mean
be specific.
the Venom in Carnage story has always been a really cool thing. And I think that Sterling made a good point about this. Carnage is a much better villain than the guy in the first movie. I barely remember the guy because you're actually getting you're having someone who has to deal with the similar dynamic of Eddie and Venom, but it's Woody and Carnage. I thought that dynamic of it worked pretty well, and the fact that they're not as symbiotic, like they haven't worked out any kind of relationship, whereas Eddie and Venom have slowly kind of become this relationship that works, and that ultimately that's what helped them win.
I think if you were given the Cliff Notes or a quick summary of the movie, that story is really good. All right. Cletus, right? He gives or wants the story to go out by Eddie. Eddie sees his room, figures it out, doesn't need him anymore. And then Cletus is mad at him. And then you say his girlfriend, they were separated and she's alive and held captives, and the cop that shot her, there's those 4 points. I don't think the movie overall did a good job of bringing it all together.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of mishmashed. And what I mean by that is for me, I'm all about, I know there's the plot armor in a lot of things, and there's something that pushes the story forward. The the writing for this was so bad with how Carnage became Carnage.
Oh my
Like
God, yeah.
he didn't have to go back. He didn't. He got his fame again. He had absolutely didn't need to go back. And two, the guard specifically, they put the dialogue in the movie 2 feet back, which was bad. The actor that did that was bad. And then he puts the recording thing on the cage, and I thought they should have had a way better reason or outcome of
Yeah, it
how
just
Carnage became Carnage. It was so lazy, complete
it
laziness.
was so lazy to the point where I'm not sure what happens in the comic books or anything. Maybe it's better in the comics, but like then like wait, Tom Hardy can just bleed and that creates Carnage? That's it?
That's
Couldn't that didn't wouldn't that have happened like before already? Like I don't understand. Is it just because he ate it? That was confusing to me. Like I thought I was missing something.
Yeah.
weird.
I don't really know anything about the origin story of Carnage, but yeah, it was just kind of throwaway. Like, I didn't really it wasn't as iconic, I guess, as like Peter being bit by a spider or you know Batman's parents dying. I don't know.
But
It just
yeah,
wasn't
yeah, I'm with
that
you.
memorable.
Yeah, and maybe it was good because I mean I guess it's better than them putting some really elaborate reason that's dumb, that wastes time or something. So I thought it was. I just didn't get. It's just it was that easy that he just got bit and that was it. I mean, Tom Hardy's gotten all kinds of beat up in the other movie and in this movie at separate times. Are you saying little carnages can just like appear at any time that that's the only thing I didn't get was like they didn't make it seem like there was anything particularly interesting about why the blood became Carnage at that moment. And that was the only thing I
Yeah.
didn't get.
Well, is Carnage is he actually the son of Venom, or is he a different alien? Or like
He's like an
in the
off
Well, in
comics?
the movie,
he in the comics he is considered Venom's son and Venom calls him his son, but
Okay.
it's in a weird way where like it's just that he's the offspring of that of the Venom symbiote.
Yeah.
He like
Okay.
attaches of it, so they use that kind of term. They use those terms, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah, there
yeah.
could have been a
Well,
much better way of doing it for sure.
oh yeah. Well, I thought, yeah, with that, it was just a roller coaster because, like Matt said, they did some things better in this movie than they did in the last one. And now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't think about it before because I enjoyed myself in the theater. I didn't have any, people snoring or, doing meth next to me, so I was good there. So I enjoyed the time. But now we're talking about it, looking at it. That yeah, the writing wasn't and the pacing was maybe like I said was just too rampant throughout. They didn't slow down. When they slowed down too much. And when they sped up, they sped way too fast. And
Well,
that's that's disappointing. But it was a short movie. They had a lot of pack in. That's on them too. So it's
yeah.
their fault.
Well, here's the thing. This could be a bad thing. Um, but like, I honestly don't think they're trying to make a great movie with any of these movies. I think they're just trying to do whatever Tom Hardy wants to do. I don't know. That's kind of the feeling that I've gotten in both of these movies that because he's involved with the story so much. So
Well,
I
and the
just feel
thing
like,
is,
yeah,
it works.
I know
I
it
mean,
makes
I
money.
guess it works. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't explain. I mean, the money talks, baby. I mean, these movies make money, and they're not that badly reviewed. I was looking up the showtimes, and it says 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I expected this to get like 15 or 10% or something. Not that Rotten Tomatoes is the end all be all, but I just was
Yeah, we
surprised it
don't
had
need
as
on
high of a
that.
rating. That was before I
yeah.
watched it, and then I saw. Did
Well,
Andy Serkis direct the first one too?
no.
No,
Okay, because that was the thing. I saw Andy Serkis was directing. I'm like, I wonder if we'll get like a bit of a tone change. But I'm starting to think Tom Hardy's really directing it because it felt exactly like the first movie. It didn't feel different to me at all.
yeah.
Well, I would say this that I was shocked. Like you said, you saw the rating. I didn't know how badly reviewed the first one was for critics, but audiences loved it, obviously, because it had nearly $1 billion.
Was it less?
We'll see what.
Was it reviewed less?
Yeah, half. It's twice as many critics like this one
Okay.
as the previous,
Okay.
so which is
I never
crazy.
actually knew what it
But
was before, but
so I think, yeah, and obviously we don't really care about that, but it just goes to show you, and I agree that with you, Matt, it works. There are so many bad, like really bad movies made, and people are getting paid, like the Wachowskis. they made so many bad movies after the Matrix movies
Woo.
that like it's so hard, as people say in the industry, to make a good movie. I don't know how. I don't know how difficult it is. I just people like professionals saying how difficult it is, but hearing that these are not horrible movies, and for you to say, Sterling, that you feel like Tom Hardy's just having a good old time, writing in his diary and going to the set, it's impressive, like extremely impressive. If that is the
Yeah,
case, that these are turning out as good as they are.
I
yeah,
I think he's tapping into the thing is I definitely see the same type of audience that really likes Venom being the same audience that really likes Deadpool. I'm not comparing them at all because I think Deadpool is like leagues and leagues above Venom. I think Deadpool movies are actually funny and actually pretty good. But the type I think that there is a thing where kids want to go see it because it's Venom, little kids. Older kids want to go and teenagers want to go see it and young adults want to see it because they kind of think it's edgy. Like, dude, we're going to see, this is my superhero right here, Venom. Fuck Spider-Man and these guys. I like this because he's badass, even though it's a PG movie, basically. That's a gripe that I would have. I think I would enjoy them a little better if they actually just quit. I know they want to, and it's shameless that they're just gonna not just make it R if you like, why not? And I don't even get it. This is a nitpick about the industry, not about the movie. There's things in this movie when she starts pressing that guy's eye down in, and they added these gross sound effects. I'm like, that's more disturbing than Venom biting someone's head off. Why are you cutting away every time Venom eats somebody? Like, I just didn't get that. You can go watch Jurassic World. They'll straight up eat a body in their mouth. That's PG-13. But Venom can't bite someone's head off?
I don't know. I don't know the intricacies of the rating system other than obviously what they say at the bottom of the screen. But I will say this: they're going to make twice as much money because I didn't notice a real difference because I believe the first Venom was rated R, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
No.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't notice one way or another because this was hyper violent, like very violent, and it goes to show you. Obviously, they're going to make more money because it's not rated R. That you don't need a splatter. You don't, obviously Wolverine, you kind of want that, and for Logan, and then Deadpool, obviously. But this, you really don't. Like
Well,
they
I
showed them put
agree.
the thing through his throat. There was a lot of violence
Yeah.
in a PG-13 movie.
I agree that you don't need a movie to be R. I don't get the people who are like, did you hear the new Wolverine movie's going to be R? Like, as if that makes it good. But what I'm saying is that there are movies that are unnecessarily R or whatever, and there's movies where they make that like a thing, like the next movie's going to be R or whatever. It's just that it just seemed definitely like the movie was compromised at times whenever Venom grabs a guy to bite their head and then it would just cut. It felt like it was cut on purpose to make it PG-13. And to me, it's like double the money, half the integrity. Like, I feel like I get it. I'm not saying you need to make it violent because for whatever reason, like you need to make it R, that makes it better. It's just that it definitely felt like at times they were definitely in the editing booth. Like, okay, we got to make it a PG-13, so we'll take this joke out. We'll make sure that this isn't, because you say it's violent and it is, but it's not any more violent than like Spider-Man 2 or something. Do you know what I mean? Like it's scarier because you have scary monsters, but what's the difference really? It's just people getting beat up. You're not seeing you're not seeing any blood or gore or
I don't
limbs
necessarily
or
think.
anything
I don't necessarily think blood is equivalent to more violence. I think this was. I guess I don't see. Remembering Spider-Man 2, I'm not sure which one. Maybe back in the day, the 04 one was pretty similar, Spider-Man 2, but the recent Spider-Man 2 was not, to me, as violent as this, but that's just me.
Yeah, I can see what you're both saying. I know, playing both sides. I get that. I know it's frustrating.
No,
But,
I just miss
come on.
nostalgia. Just miss that guy.
Yeah, I did too. Well, I was going to move on if you guys don't mind, because I was wanting to talk about. Let's want to talk about the last battle between Carnage and Venom and what we thought overall. And I'll go first.
I think. Well, is this where we're gonna end it? Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Well, here we go.
Let's end overall. We can end on that, but I got nitpicks, my friends.
Well, can
And we got to talk about the post-credit scene.
yeah. So
You guys
real
have to tell
quick,
me
this
about it. I left as soon as I
I've been
could.
telling you guys about something. Just real quick, oh, it's an inside joke for us three. When he gets told that his fiance or ex fiance is now getting married with the doctor, and he storms off on the bike. If you guys remember this, good on you. When Eddie is trying to console, when Venom is trying to console Eddie, when he drives away on the bike, what instantaneously when he ends saying the line before he moves on, he says, "Eddie, I apologize," and I instantly started laughing. I was like, "Please say for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Please say it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I was,
yeah.
I was the only one in the theater laughing. I probably look like a
I
crazy
didn't.
person.
I was laughing for different reasons, but that scene was wild. It was bizarre. You got to admit, him stopping and taking the helmet off and having a single tear roll down his cheek. I mean, what are we
I
doing
didn't see that.
here?
I noticed that. Sorry. All right, Sterling. I'm sorry. I wanted just so I didn't forget.
That is
and
funny though. I'm gonna edit it. I'll edit the movie so that it's my voice.
Yes.
I apologize for absolutely fucking nothing.
Uh,
Oh, Sterling. All right. What do you think about the fight?
it was okay overall. Could have been better. That's essentially what I think about it. I don't know.
All that for that.
Well, well, I mean, I had more to say, but then you guys took the wind out of my sails. So, if you're according,
Get off your high horse and tell us what you think.
Tell us how you really
no,
feel.
I mean, there were some good like collisions between Venom and Carnage, and some pretty good stabbings and
Yeah.
Carnage looked really cool. Like when he's just getting all bigger and he's like enveloping the whole cathedral, and so there were some cool moments for sure. But I think maybe the runtime maybe hurt this fight overall because there could have been maybe a little bit more mano, like one instead of outside interference.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I think that ties into what Trey was saying a little, like about how there's so much shit going on as far as B plots and different things that like they probably could have just taken a couple of those side things out and then maybe it would have filled out a little better. Because yeah, there's even in the final battle there's so much shit going on.
yeah. Well, they were trying to put over Carnage as like he's way stronger than Venom. So, like, I understand why he needed the outside interference, and that was kind of funny too. Venom was like, "Oh shit, like it's a red one. I can't fight that." And then,
Well, I wish they would have explained because I'm still confused. I don't read the comics, so
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed.
And to go off of that, like the thing about the fight was pretty cool. Like you said, there was some cool imagery. I liked Carnage doing like his anime like ultimate move kind of was pretty kind of cool. And it looked cool, But part of why I think it's hard with this battle, and it was similar in the last movie as well, is that it's hard to like see damage on Venom and Carnage because the way they kind of are like half liquid or whatever. So the fight, they're kind of just punching, but you're like, are they hurting each other? I don't really know. Like, how do you know that they're actually like doing damage? The stakes just didn't seem that high because like, I don't know what's happening. Like finally there's the part where Venom's like straight up stabbed up or whatever, and he looked like he was injured. But, unlike a real fight where you're seeing people really get damaged more and more, it was just kind of like dumping 2 glasses of water on each other. It's like, I don't really know who's hurting who or what's going on.
yeah.
But
I
it
agree
did
with all
look
that.
cool. It did look cool, though. But
Okay, I do have to say though, I did like Carnage just talking shit to the girl with the sound ability, and he would just keep
felt
telling
how
her,
we all
"Shut your
felt.
mouth, you bitch," or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was pretty funny.
He was saying what I was thinking,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up, you dumb bitch.
And then the ending was it was funny, like them being on that tropical island together, and then he's like, "Did you just say you love me?" Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of fun.
If there is a third Venom movie called Venom in Paradise, I will forgive everything. I think that in about 20, 30 years, these Venom movies are going to be like cult classic B movies that people are going to be like watch in like a fun kind of way where they're like, look at these old, and I think that they need to lean into it and they need to do Venom in Paradise.
Well,
Love it.
post-credit scene might go in a different direction, which
Did you see it?
Nah, I got out of there as soon as I could.
I bet you didn't really see it?
No.
I found a good one on YouTube.
No, what is it? I knew there'd be one. I just thought you guys would explain it to me.
it's actually a good post-credit scene. Like, it's interesting. It is very interesting where they're going to go, and I kind of predicted that. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let Trey explain it because he'll explain it better. But I was just saying that it went in the direction that I thought they would go, as far as how.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked that I'm not on the opposite end of the spectrum from Sterling. I'm shocked that I had no idea this is where they would go. So I'll explain it real quick. So, he's running away from police like Batman, as the good guy it does. So he's in it. So the post-credit scene starts with obviously a Mexican show where you can't understand anything that's going on in the show, literally filling the whole screen. So you're like, did someone in the back put on, days of the Mexican Days of Our Lives on? So literally that's what's going on. Anyways, they zoom out, and it's Eddie drunk in the bed or whatever. Maybe not drunk, but so Eddie asks Venom a question, and he's like, "What I've seen in my 8 billion years will blow your mind." And he's like, "Fine, show me." And he's about to show, and they're like zoom out, and it shows that Eddie like starting to like shake and like freak out, and then a bright light in the wind, like a doorway, opens up, and everything shakes, and the whole room transforms into a nice luxury resort. And they're like, "What the hell's going on? Oh my gosh!" And the TV turns on with breaking news, and they pan over to the TV, and it's J.K. Simmons. We know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. We're gonna, and it shows Peter Parker, and Venom turns into Venom, and he licks the screen. Ooh, I'm gonna, whatever he says, and he licks the screen, and it goes black.
Are you trolling, Sterling?
No, that's what happens. That's what happens.
What?
Because I'm really excited for No Way Home, and if they put Venom in it, it'll just ruin it.
You cannot dislike, dude. Okay, honestly. So,
like, I'm legitimately disappointed. I like it that it's separate because at least it's not tarnishing these good hero movies.
No. I'm trying to answer a specific question.
Okay.
Do you not like the directing and the overall way they're trying to push Venom, or do you not like Venom and Eddie together? Like, do you not like the characters?
Oh, like I said, I've read a lot of like the comic books and stuff with Venom and Eddie, and I think that they're great. Like, I think that Venom's a fucking really cool character, and he could be done really well. And in the movie, no, I don't like Tom Hardy. I don't like his performance. I don't think their banter's funny. It's just not my cup of tea as far as like I don't like the humor that much. And I think Venom is kind of lame. Like, I think he's like trying.
Wow.
I think he's for people who are trying to say like, who are like, this is my guy. You might like Spider-Man. I had the Venom tattoo because he's edgy. Like, he's cool. And it's like kind of like, like, and I'm talking about the movie Venom. I'm not talking about Venom as a character. I think Venom as a character is very cool. But I do think the movie version of them I don't really like. So I'm hoping if he's in the No Way Home, it's just a cameo or something.
This is bad news for you. Yeah. So it took me 10-15 minutes to figure it out, where I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like driving home, and obviously you think it'd be obvious. Sterling will he'll talk about how he feels about it. When I was driving home, like, oh my gosh, that's what they're saying. I knew that they're saying basically the Doctor Strange, because I haven't watched the trailer and I closed my eyes when it showed it, but I know what happens, the gist of it.
Yeah.
So essentially, Venom is in. They brought him into the universe, and I'm like, when I like put it all together, I'm like, oh my gosh, all the villains from the previous movies, and then Venom. It's converging all the universes into Peter or Tom Holland's one. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be nuts.
I know. So I think that because this is the good silver lining of it is the dialogue and really what's bad about the Venom movies is the jokes and the dialogue and the directing and shit, right? So if we have Venom in No Way Home, Sam Raimi, maybe we'll actually see some Venom being like a much better character, because we won't see the shittiness of these two movies. It's like we'll get the character in these movies and we'll know, oh, it's Tom Hardy, that's funny. I don't like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, but him being in the movie is fine. So I guess I'm okay. I can be okay with it as long as because there's no way a good director and Kevin Feige's gonna let them be like have shitty dialogue or shitty acting and stuff in No Way Home.
Well, I'm shocked. I was shocked because Sterling saying about how he thought this way was going to go. I was like, I thought they were always going to keep it separate.
Yeah,
so this is kind of great.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
So that's great news for me, because Rose, real quick, Sterling. It'll kind of lean into you. So I can't believe it, because it gives me hope for more Spider-Man and stuff in the MCU going forward. And to kind of switch it up, Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange, and John Watts has directed this next Spider-Man. Just so you know, Matt. So the next film coming out for Spider-Man and then Doctor Strange.
Okay, I just confused the who's doing which one. But
I wish there was a Spider-Man 4. I'm with you. I thought it wasn't the third one wasn't horrible, but I wish they didn't give it. Back when the studios took complete control and thought they were all that in a bag of potato chips. Sorry, Sterling.
No, I was just going to say that as soon as Marvel started going more into multiverse, I just kind of thought, okay, like, I bet probably Venom is going to be a part of another universe, and he's going to be brought in, through the multiverse. And so that's how they're going to connect, with Tom Holland's Peter Parker. So to me, whenever that happened, and that happened in the post-credit scene, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because, I mean, Doc Ock, I assume he's going to be from another universe. And, they're going to bring in Tobey Maguire, probably Andrew Garfield. It's going to be basically the live-action version of Into the Spider-Verse. So, which I think has the potential to be pretty cool.
Oh, no, yeah,
I don't know if
I think that's a cool way to do it.
You're setting yourself up for disappointment. I think that's going to happen.
I think I'll also say this. I think that the No Way Home trailer, I know you covered your eyes, but no, but I actually think that the initial scenes that we're seeing, I don't know if you saw the opening part at least, but the initial parts where he's like, I need your help. I want everyone to forget that I was Spider-Man. And he starts doing the spell and stuff. My belief is that they're doing some Infinity War trickery. I actually don't think. I think they showed too much in the trailer, because there's something else is going to be happening. I actually think that they're bullshitting us, and that whole scene with the spell and stuff is going to be different in the movie.
Well, so that's interesting. Matt, are you still on the? Well, obviously, I would love to see it too, but solely based on Tobey Maguire being completely mute and Andy Garfield saying indisputably I'm not, and there's been no pictures other than them near the set of where it was recorded. There leaks happen all the time, so there's no way to me that this is going to happen. But do you believe it's going to happen? That Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andy Garfield's going to be coming in this
I don't
thing?
know about Andy Garfield. I think because we have Sam Raimi's Doc Ock, I could definitely see I think it would be cool to have a Tobey Maguire moment with Tom Holland where he gives him some advice, like kind of Into the Spider-Verse, like maybe even just a cameo or a scene. I'm not necessarily looking for a big team-up movie or anything, but I do think we'll get a little scene maybe. And with Tobey Maguire, I'm not sure about Andrew Garfield. I've heard people say that in the trailer, if you look, there's a part where you can see Lizard. So I don't know.
I feel like it's interesting. Oh, sorry, go.
No,
I think it'll be fun either way. I'm not. I mean, because ultimately, I don't care that much. Like, I think that Spider-Man movies are fun, and I'm sure this one will be fun. But I'm not really putting too much eggs in a basket. I think it would be cool to have a bearded, older Tobey Maguire giving some advice. But that's probably the main hope that I have. That would be cool.
Sure.
Well, so okay, the room. So Electro's gonna be in it. That's been confirmed, I believe. What people are saying about the grenade that's in the trailer, I've seen still images. I saw a Doc Ock, whatever. When I
Fuck
heard
those
it.
advertisers.
How is it not confirmed that Goblin is in it? Just like in the trailer of Star Wars, and when I wish I had a recording of me
Preach,
watching that
brother.
trailer,
Yeah.
I flipped out, and then he came on stage, Ian whatever his name is. They had the Goblin laugh.
I'm with you, and I've now watched that trailer. I've watched the trailer on my phone. I watched it on the TV showing Christy and Ezra. I watch it and now I saw it in the theater. This is the first time I saw it in the theater. It sounds like it straight up sounds like Willem Dafoe's laugh. I don't know who we're kidding here.
1,000%. 1,000%.
What is this?
Sterling, explain this. Why is it not? How is it not confirmed?
Well, because first of all, they're trying to keep as much as they can secret, even though it is kind of the worst kept secret in Hollywood right now. As far as who's involved in
Sterling, I need you to confirm right now that it's Willem Dafoe. We'll consider that the confirmation.
Sterling.
Confirm it.
Sterling. How has nobody talked about the laugh? They've only talked about the grenade. Oh, look at there's a grenade on the ground.
It could be a different Green Goblin. It could be this and could be that. It's Willem Dafoe's laugh.
No one's talked about the laugh.
No one's
point. So no, that's not true. I've listened to some movie pundits talk about the laugh. I have. So
thank God.
Someone did. I didn't know. I honestly didn't know it was confirmed. Didn't know it wasn't confirmed. When I saw that movie, I'm like, we got Green Goblin, we got Doc Ock. I didn't even question it.
Yeah. Insane.
And I'll say this, Sterling, just to say real quick. I think you're right that they are trying to keep some stuff secret. But if they're trying to keep it secret, why did they put it in the trailer? Why would they put the laugh in there?
They're trying to keep who is the Green Goblin. Right? That's what they're trying to keep. Yeah.
Oh crap.
Oh, because it might be that twerp from Oculus or whatever that movie was. Nah, what's the kid from Andrew Garfield's movie? The kid from
I don't remember.
Whatever.
I really
don't. My hearing, I'm in the Dolby Vision of all Dolby Visions. I'm not distracted by visuals. I'm hearing things crystal clear. That was crystally clearly, as Matt said it, William Dafoe. I don't know what you're smoking. I want whatever's in that pipe you're smoking. I want it.
I've never denied that it's probably William Dafoe. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, okay,
Why are you throwing shit out there about, it could be this or could be that?
To be fair,
get out of here.
Nostalgia, this one's for you, but to be fair, Trey, you just started questioning Sterling as if he's the marketing director of this movie.
Yeah.
This is more fun.
Just because I live like 15 miles away from ABC Studios and whatever. Okay, that doesn't mean I have all the information. Okay,
what does it mean?
It means absolutely nothing.
It'd be so funny if he says that and then like after the podcast and he's like, you guys are pissing me off. I gotta go. And then he looks down and Kevin, there's a text from Kevin Feige on his phone and he's like, here's the $500. Thanks for keeping your mouth shut or something like that.
No, but okay. Honestly, though, to your guys' point. If I was involved and I had the information, I wouldn't tell you guys. They would make me sign an NDA. I'm just saying. Like,
that's rude. You would tell us in a heartbeat.
The fact that you brought that up for no reason now makes me think that you have information and that since you're technically a member of the press being part of Film Schmucks, you can't say anything like since you are on a media platform. Wow.
I'm just trying to mess with you guys.
Well, it's best. It is messing with me because I don't know if I can trust you.
Nitpicks.
Let's get to nitpicks. We're at about an hour. We're almost at an hour here. We just talked about No Way Home for 20 minutes. But it ties in. Honestly, I gotta say I'm really surprised with that
me too.
ending. That's shocking.
Yeah.
Now I wish I did stay because that one would have surprised me. But
it's straight bullshit.
I really thought you started to just make something up at the end. Because anyway. I got a few nitpicks here Trey said mine right off the bat, which was I thought it was so unnecessary and weird that they had Woody Harrelson do like voiceover. Just have the young guy's voice. I don't think anyone would have questioned that. We would have just been like, "Oh, this is young Woody Harrelson." It was kind of weird.
I've never seen a movie do that.
Yeah,
I don't think I've
That's
ever
strange.
seen it.
Because it's never
bad.
been a problem.
It looked bad too.
It wasn't quite perfect. Yeah, he probably
Sterling
showed
was
up
right.
to the
They're
ADR booth.
They're not even trying. Sterling was right. They're all just not even trying. They're like, okay, put this together. Okay, John.
Yeah, I just didn't understand whose idea was. They're like, hey, can we use some of that? We got a bigger budget this time. Can we use some of that Marvel technology and make a young Woody Harrelson? No. Can we get his voice in here? It was just like, I've never watched a movie where the actor is different when he's young, and I went, doesn't sound like him. You know what I mean? We accept that it's not that. Anyway, I think that was a little bizarre. I got a lot of little moments. I think it gets confusing sometimes why Eddie Brock. This is why it's a nitpick, because I think it works in the movie, but I just literally don't quite understand it. Which is, Eddie always talks out loud. Right? And Venom sometimes talks to him, but a lot of times Venom like talks in his head. Can't he just read his thoughts? Why does Eddie have to talk out loud to talk to Venom?
That's such a good point.
I never got that. Can't he talk in his head to him? Or Venom could read his mind or something? Because they always...
Well, here's the problem. It never actually like establishes any kind of rules. Like it never has. As far as how they communicate,
which was a good strategic move on their point.
Yeah,
because they can't mess up the rules because there are none.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. Like I think because it's hard to tell sometimes when people can hear Venom.
Exactly.
And when Eddie can just hear him.
I hope I'm gonna add one this in. I know you know what your next one is, but I hope this is not one of your nitpicks, Matt, because this goes into what you were just talking about. To me, when Cletus is now having the relationship with Carnage, he makes a deal. Hey, I want to find my girl, and we'll go get your father with Venom. When he goes to the gas station, I thought this was a horrendous line. He goes in the gas station. They basically say he kills the guy, the cash register guy. And he sits in front of the computer. He's like, and it was said bad. So shame on you, Woody. He's like, "You got some internet?" And then the Carnage's fingers go in the computer. I'm like, what is this?
I gotta be honest. I think maybe that might have happened when the guy was snoring loudly, because I don't remember that specific line, but it sounds hilarious.
Also,
Sterling, back me up. Is that what he said?
Yeah, it was really corny, and he
bad.
And then it's like, wait, so he can go to any computer and access secret files on a supposed dead person, and yeah, like he can hack the FBI from just any computer. Okay,
ridiculous.
Well,
it was horrendously stupid.
They don't really explain. Like, I guess they're super intelligent, right? Venom and Carnage.
Yeah, they can do anything.
Put his fingers in it. Why? That doesn't. Yeah, Sterling's right. Like, it showed him going through files and FBI clearance.
Okay, I think I happened to just miss that. I think that must have been when the guy was snoring next to me, because I don't remember it.
It was horrendous. That didn't make sense.
Yeah, the biggest problem in this movie, though. And again, it's also kind of its strength, because again, it embraces how cheesy it is and how corny it is. But like, nothing's ever explained, and a lot of illogical things happened in this movie. But it just it moves on. Like, it doesn't give a fuck. It doesn't give a fuck what. Yeah.
I'm 100% sold, Sterling. It's all Tom Hardy. He wanted to have a good time, and Matt portrayed it perfectly, and he gets hit in the wall, and then he says, "Internet."
By the way, I hope our audience realizes. Yeah, I hope our audience realizes this is the most healed that I've been probably this entire show. So this is a
Yeah.
rare opportunity, so enjoy
Yeah,
it.
yeah. No, I like
Oh,
it.
hey, don't say that too early because we're gonna come back with the Deuce Bigelow male gigolo number two. Not
Yes.
the good one. The word
I'm gonna save that for episode 100. I was thinking, but episode 50, because we're getting closer to that.
all
Um,
right.
Oh,
I
Nitpicks.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So I have one. This is nitpick. Whatever. I'm just thinking up because I don't have a notepad in the theater, so it's whatever I can remember. The final battle. There's a maybe I missed something here. So just tell me if I viewed this wrong. Whenever Venom stabs Carnage in the face and they hit the bell and Eddie he turns back into Eddie and he's falling down the cathedral. Venom, like, let me get this straight of what I was visualizing
Yeah.
really happened. As to Eddie, so his girlfriend and Dan, the doctor, are hanging on each other on the side of the wall in the cathedral. Eddie is falling. Venom comes off of Eddie for some reason, goes through the Dan, goes through the girlfriend, and then goes back into Eddie. Now, I don't know why. My only explanation is that he absorbed some of their strength or something in order to break the fall. But think about the physics of this. Eddie's falling. Now
He
we
just
get
left
about
Venom.
5 seconds of like, whoa, that feels weird. Whoa, it goes into the girl. Is he floating down slow-mo? Why wouldn't he just fall and hit the ground? I don't know. That scene was weird to me. I need to rewatch it because it was to happen so fast that I thought maybe I was missing something.
I thought as I was watching it, I thought it was really like because you know how they don't like the noise and they fall out of the
Yeah.
body. I'm like, but if the no noise made him fall out, how is he traveling down the wall quick enough to get to them? And I was totally on with you on that
Yeah,
one.
that was a little weird. Can one of you guys explain to me the blue eyes of the cop?
Doesn't make sense.
Did they say anything in the movie? Is
Stupid.
this a comic book thing that I don't know? What's going on there?
uh, I don't know anything about that. I think probably another symbiote or something. I
I
don't
thought that
know.
too, like maybe
Oh,
because I know that Venom does have another, like I think one other son or something, or maybe a couple other characters in the comics, but
he's like, but
it didn't look like it didn't look
symbiote.
yeah, it didn't look
No.
like a symbiote, and it like
And another thing that actors just said horribly. He's like monsters. What? What in the
yeah,
actual
what does that
hell
mean?
is going
I didn't
on?
get that scene at all. I didn't understand what was happening. I felt like
Just
that
that
whole
right away.
thing. Also, there's a couple of dialogue nitpicks. I mean, there's a lot, but I'll say there's a couple of ones that really stood out to me. I feel bad that I missed the internet one because that did sound kind of cheesy. Whenever they plan the wedding, and it's literally Carnage and Cletus and the girl, and they go wedding for 3, and then they literally all just explain who their nemesis are for their, like he's like,
Yeah,
I'll get Eddie, and she goes, I'll get the cop that took my eye or whatever, and then he's like, I'll invite Carnage. We all have our guests, and I was like, we all know that. Why did you have to explain it? And
yeah.
then to be honest, the "Let there be carnage" line, it didn't make any sense why he said that then when he just goes, "Let there be carnage."
When does he say it?
He says it when they're on the top. He like hits Venom with like a pole or something, and then he just goes, "Let there be carnage."
Oh,
He says
I
the
missed
movie
that.
title.
I thought he said it like 2 or 3 times in the movie.
Maybe that was the most. That time, maybe it's because that time was out of place. Why I recognized it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Ooh,
well,
that was exhausting.
yeah.
I knew it was
That
going to be
sounds
a
the
good
final
Schmucks
part.
episode. And that's the thing. I knew it was going to be a good episode because it's one of those movies I'm glad I watched, like the first one, because it's a little weird. It's like bad in some ways. It's good in other ways. The whole thing is weird. Andy Serkis is directing. I feel like I'm in an alternate dimension with this movie. There's so much shit to talk
Bro.
about.
I I enjoyed this movie way more in the theater than I did talking about it, and thank God. Man,
Well, that,
exhausting. Like, all these too many nitpicks. My goodness. Well, I'll
well, that,
go
yeah.
real quick.
Okay.
And
No,
I enjoyed it in the theater. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. There
Are
was a
we
lot of corny
souring
lines.
your experience?
Yeah, I do it to you guys all the time,
Yeah,
so don't
yeah.
worry. I deserve it. I deserve it. Anyway, I didn't love the movie, but I enjoyed it. I now that I'm exhausted talking about these nitpicks and stupid stuff they do. I'm like, you know what? I don't need to see this movie. I've seen it once. I'd rather go back and revisit Venom now. That man, oh, I'm exhausted. My eyelids are tired. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Anyway, sorry, I'm
I want
rambling.
to hear these juicy nitpicks, my friend.
Oh no, no, no! I gave you my one nitpick. I was just gonna do
Oh,
my
okay,
final
okay.
thought.
Sorry, you acted like you were leading up. Like I'm exhausted. Like you're like I gotta get to these. You're
Oh,
gonna pull a list up. Whew.
oh!
Let's get to it. No, okay. Sorry.
I
I'm
wish I
sorry. I
would
didn't
have.
mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
You had a lot of mine, and I mentioned mine
You had some
throughout.
of
But
mine as well.
yeah, there we go. I mean, it was a very disappointing. Now that I think about it, very disappointing. I'm glad it was an hour and a half instead of 2 hours and 15 minutes because I would never have gotten that 45 minutes back. I'd rather have the Snorlax next to me jabbing him in the jugular to wake him up. That would have been more entertaining than some of the stuff we saw in this movie. But be my guest, go watch it. I mean, I think what Matt said goes that it's probably worth a good watch, especially I guess you can find on YouTube the post credit scene. But Carnage, and we didn't talk about this. I'm sorry to keep on going. The effects when he transformed, I thought they did a darn good job with the effects of Carnage and obviously Venom, but especially Carnage.
yeah, nothing fell out of
Sorry.
place.
And
Like,
on a happy note, good effects, digital effects.
Yeah, yeah. Especially Carnage. I think it looked pretty cool. Um.
oh yeah,
Yep.
I'll
Um.
go.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was not disappointed in this movie because I had very low expectations after watching the first one, and I would say the expectations overall were met. Um, I wasn't. I didn't hate myself watching this movie. There was a lot of entertaining moments and entertaining dialogue, despite how cheesy it was. And I think that's what makes it so enjoyable to watch is just the embracing of that cheesiness. And I think it definitely is not my cup of tea in some ways. I definitely agree a lot with what Matt says about just the overall kind of character work with Venom and Eddie Brock. I would have loved to see something different, but after watching the first one years ago and watching this one, I kind of tried to set that aside and just kind of judge it for what it is right now. And for what it is right now, I mean, it works. It works financially. It works like just the crowd that I was with enjoyed it. Like I could tell that people really enjoyed themselves watching this movie. And I probably didn't enjoy it as much as they did because I think there's a lot of issues with this. But I do enjoy that experience of seeing other people happy with it. So overall, it's kind of a one and done movie for me. I don't think I want to watch it again, just like the first one. But good theater experience. That's all I can ask for.
I think part of doing this Film Schmuck series is that we've watched a lot of really great movies, you know? And so, I mean, I've been catching up on, we watched some Tarantino, we're watching a lot of stuff. And as you get older, you start watching better stuff. I think, I say this about a lot of movies, but it is kind of a bad blockbuster movie. It's just one of those blockbuster superhero kind of movies. And I'd say it's on the bad side of it. But I think you kind of need those movies, and I think they're fun, you know? And I think as much as I was shitting on this movie, I don't hate it. It's kind of what I expected it to be after seeing the first one. And so it's just one of those things where it's like Sterling said, I think a lot of people enjoy it. There's something interesting about the way that Tom Hardy. I honestly just never expected the first movie to make a lot of money, even if I didn't see it. I would have never guessed they would have been able to make a Venom movie that would get such large audiences. I think they must have struck at the right time. And I think Tom Hardy is playing into some kind of sensibility where people are like, fuck it. We have a fun character, Venom. Let's have some fun. That's what it kind of feels like. And so that's okay, you know. And I will kind of agree with Sterling a little bit on like, I'm not a huge fan of Venom, but it would be interesting to see a darker take on Venom. This is more of a family fun, kind of lighthearted take on it. But it would be interesting to see, and I don't just mean rated R, but I just mean like little bit less of a comedy angle. But what they did come up with, I think, though, that maybe a movie like that wouldn't have worked as well. So, you know, that's what you learn in the movies. And so yeah, I would say check it out. If you like the first one, you'll like this one. I think that's no doubt. If you hated the first one, you might hate this one. So I think they actually are pretty on par with each other as far as feeling the same tone and everything. Yeah. So
All right.
Yeah. Well, you know, sometimes it gets exhausting, but and even for me watching other channels, you know, they always ask for subscribe or, you know, a like. But we're new, and you know, it's one thing for someone with 10 million followers to keep on asking about it. We just want to see the growth. We want to see if you're enjoying it, see if we're doing the right stuff. Comment below if there's a movie you'd like us to see that we haven't seen, and you like a review of it if you haven't seen a review of it. So comment below. Like I said, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the Film Schmucks.
got it.